Good evening, everybody. I tried to fix that banner. Apparently, I cannot spell. Give me just a second. Let me add that in. Oh, there we go. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Let me check my comments here. All right. Let's see. We got a hi from Let's Talk About It. See who else is here. Now, these are recorded so that you can catch up later. So if you want to go outside and enjoy the nice weather, that's no problem at all. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lauren Bratcher. I am the Deputy Director for Kentucky NORML, and I've held this position since 2017. So today we're going to talk about the same stuff we talk about all the time. One of the biggest issues going on in medical cannabis in Kentucky right now is the companies that are selling medical cards online for anywhere from $100 to I've seen as high as $300, depending on where you go. So rather than just tell you guys like this is how it should be, this is how it is, I'm going to walk you through a little advertisement email that I got, and we're going to walk through their website and just kind of do some fact checking so that you guys know what to look for and what to tell other people, if they're looking into this. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Put us in a. So if you want to turn your phone sideways, you'll be able to see this a little better. Now, this is just my Kentucky NORML email. I opened it. It was yesterday. And this is a fairly professional looking email. They've got a nice logo here. It says Kentucky all over the place. It's got some facts written in it. It talks about the executive order that was signed and that you can get a recommendation for legal protection in the state of Kentucky. That's not quite true. And we'll talk about what that's about. Medical cannabis program in Kentucky will be available in 2025. So there's nothing here in Kentucky yet. And that part is correct. It's not going to be available till 2025. So they're selling appointments for $99. You can schedule your appointment. They give you a phone number to call. And so they say here for us to check out their FAQs. So we're going to do that. And let me check my StreamYard comments real quick. Make sure nobody has any questions. Okay. So I opened up their frequently asked questions for medical marijuana. And if you look at the website, it's KentuckyMarijuanaCard.com. Nothing fishy about this so far. It seems legit. Like I said, it looks very professional. They seem to have all the links you would want to be able to look at, where their office locations are, how to qualify, blah, blah, blah. If you go down to the bottom, you'll see just, their phone number and their email. So here's where I start to feel like, let's see here. When we see that they're handling Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, Texas, Kentucky, that may seem like, hey, they've got a lot of business in a lot of places. But to me, that says there's when you look at all of these states, these are southern states that are medical only, that are vague in what's happening as far as, are they recreational, are they not? But most of these are medical only states. So that already just kind of is a red flag to me, because I see this kind of stuff all the time and I just know what to look for. Anytime I see a business that has a whole bunch of states like this, I'm automatically like, what's going on here? So let's go back up to the FAQs. Just checking my comments again. So the first question is, do I qualify for medical in the state of Kentucky? There are a variety of conditions that qualify for medical marijuana treatments in Kentucky. And this link just goes to how to qualify. And what they have listed here are the 21 conditions that are available under Governor Beshear's executive order. And I think this is where the confusion lies, and this is where a lot of advantage is taken. According to the medical marijuana bill that was just passed at the end of March, it only has 6 medical conditions. It does not have 21. So what they're talking about here is for the governor's executive order, which qualifies you for a pardon, and you only need a pardon if you break the law or you're found guilty of breaking the law, basically. So, that goes back to how this makes you legal in Kentucky. At this point in time, there is absolutely no legal way for you to possess cannabis in Kentucky. What the executive order does is allow a last minute help, or I guess a last ditch effort to help a patient that absolutely had to go out of state, absolutely had to get their medicine. And unfortunately, they get caught here in Kentucky. They might get released by like Metro Police or state police, but that's a big might. That's if it's up to the law enforcement's discretion, basically. In rural areas, it's not going to be that. You aren't going to be that lucky. So you would have to go to the courts. You would have to get arrested. You'd have to go through all the steps, get to the end before you can even put in a request for that pardon. So we just want to make sure everybody understands this. So again, if this is already talking about the executive order, there's nothing legal about the executive order. It's just to help you if you get arrested. So again, sorry, my little son just came in. Okay. Maybe y'all can go back outside. So the next thing is, why do I need a Kentucky medical marijuana card? Although the medical program in Kentucky doesn't launch till 2025, certain individual Kentuckians and their caregivers can purchase medical marijuana in other states as long as they meet a set of 3 criteria. And again, this is about the executive order. Yes, it does need to be lawfully purchased in the U.S. from a state where purchase is legal and the receipts are kept. The amount purchased must not exceed 8 ounces, because under 8 ounces or less is a misdemeanor in Kentucky. So this is already just telling you to obey the law. And then the third one is each person must have a certification from a licensed healthcare provider showing the person has been diagnosed with at least one of the 21 medical conditions. So that is what they are at. That is the service that this company is charging you for this certification from a licensed healthcare provider. But again, this is only for a pardon. It does not make you part of the Kentucky medical program. To be a part of the Kentucky medical program, you will have to register with the state as a state registered medical cannabis participant or patient. But the doctors that recommend it will also have to register with the state. And neither of those 2 things are open right now. So there's no way for anyone in the state of Kentucky to register as a legal medical cannabis patient at this time. Now, we will let everybody know as soon as that becomes open. Make sure you subscribe to the kynormal.org There's a little box at our website where you can put your email in, and we'll make sure to let you guys know as soon as that is available for you to register for. But at this time, that is not open. So again, this has correct information, but it's just presented in a way that would make somebody feel like they are now legally able to possess cannabis in Kentucky, and that's not a possibility at this time. So their next FAQ is, how do I get a Kentucky medical marijuana recommendation? And they go on, they say, well, you need to have a Kentucky cannabis doctor confirm that you suffer from one of these conditions and recommend medical marijuana as a therapeutic treatment. Now, that part is true, but the Kentucky cannabis doctor you will need to visit will be registered with the state again. So this is kind of putting the cart before the horse. And so we just want to be aware of what's going on here. Am I guaranteed to get approved for medical marijuana after seeing a Kentucky marijuana doctor? Now, they're capitalizing this Kentucky marijuana doctor like that's what they call their doctors in this in this business setup, in the same way that a cashier may be referred to as a sales associate. So it's not, they're not exactly a quote unquote Kentucky marijuana doctor. That's just kind of the title that the business is giving them. Because again, they have to register with the state of Kentucky, and that registry is not open yet. So what conditions make a patient eligible for medical marijuana in the state of Kentucky? They've got all the conditions listed in the governor's executive order. So this is where this is more misinformation. These conditions might make you eligible for a pardon after arrest through the governor's executive order, but it will not make you a medical marijuana, registered patient in Kentucky. There are not this many conditions in the bill that was passed. Let's see. So the next one is, how much does a medical marijuana evaluation cost in Kentucky? They're just saying that that some doctors charge an exorbitant amount of money for an initial examination, which is true. We have seen this. We feel strongly that if you qualify for medical marijuana, you shouldn't have trouble accessing it due to cost. As such, we offer a variety of payment methods, including discounts for veterans, as well as referral discounts to those who spread the word about our services. Now, that right there, how many doctors, legit doctors, do you go to that offer a referral discount? That's just not something that we see. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm seeing some comments around here. Is there any chance anyone will be pushing for personal cultivation for medical use by 2025? That is always an ultimate goal for, I believe, for anyone that is in the advocacy, community. And that is because we need personal cultivation for it to be affordable for people who are disabled, people in rural areas who don't have vehicles to get to cannabis dispensaries. I mean, it makes it more affordable. That's the bottom line. But the senators right now are talking about removing flower from the bill. So it's not that we don't want to fight for it. It's that the legislators aren't ready for that yet. We are still working to educate them on why inhalation is actually a safer way than ingesting edibles, because it has an immediate effect, and right away when too much is too much. Plus, anything you inhale is something that lasts, 1 to 2 hours, where anything you digest is going to last, it's going to be like a Tylenol, so it's going to last 6 to 8 hours. So if you take too much, if you took too much, you're just going to have to wait it out. So those are just education issues that we're going to have to work with legislators. And so that's why I personally don't think we're going to be able to get that far this next year, maybe in 2025. But again, it's just kind of like we've got to address the most important issues. One of them being, will we even have enough dispensaries to cover each health district region in Kentucky? We don't want people in Eastern Kentucky having to cross the mountains to get their medicine. So there's a lot of issues that we have to cover. And for me, getting this done as quickly as possible and keeping flower and educating legislators why flower is so important, why it's important to PTSD patients, why it's important to veterans, why it's important to people who have an immediate need, people with seizures, stuff like that. And a nose spray is going to be great, but a nose spray is not going to. That product is a little bit further on in the industry, so it would be further on down the line that we just have nasal sprays available all the time. In the very beginning of we're not going to have nasal sprays available. It's going to take a little time to get the market up to that point. So we do want to work for that, but like I said, we've got to take things one step at a time, keep the flower, and go on from there. Let's see. Mark had a comment. Great information. They're just preying. Yeah, Mark, that's how I feel too. I feel like they're just preying on people who are desperate for help and who, haven't. I've been doing this for years and years and years, and it's still super confusing for me. And it's just the way it is. So we feel like it's our duty as consumer protection agency through NORML to let everybody know what's going on here and hopefully make sure, that they don't spend money they don't have. If you've got the money for it and you want to do it anyway, go ahead. Just know it doesn't make you legal. I feel like that's the quickest way for somebody to get in trouble is to think it's legal when you're not, So Alan is moving to Kentucky. Well, we'll welcome you here. We're nice people. We try to be friendly to everybody. I know I am, at least. And Alan also wanted to know how much our licensing to grow facility is going to cost. We don't know that yet, Alan. That's what I'm saying. Like, the program is still so new. We don't have the regulations about how much facilities will cost. We don't know how much it will cost for the patients to get their cards. I mean, all these are regulations being put in place right now. And it actually got sent to the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, I believe, because it's where Casper is dealt with in that department as well. And since they want to run medical through Casper, it makes sense. That's where they've put it. I don't know if they'll stay there, but that's where it's at. So they're working on regulations, and we'll have to see. They did put out a statement. I covered it in last week's live. They did put out a statement to one of the local newspapers that I think it might have been the Courier Journal, but saying that they were working really hard to get this out as fast as possible. They know people are, wanting to get help as soon as possible. And then they know that the legislators are going to want to look at the regulations and make any changes. So I believe they're going to try to get that done at least by next January when session starts up again. I would hope they get it out even earlier so that we can spend some time before session talking to the legislators about everything that's happening with the regulations. So just a lot up in the air right now, and we're just wait to see. So I saw the legislator are taking PTSD off as a medical condition. They may be talking about that. I haven't seen that. I think maybe there was a little bit of talk about that, but again, that's something we go back every year to talk with, educate, and help and make sure that the legislators know what's going on. And we want to push to really let the doctors decide. That's kind of hard to do, but that's what we would like. It's still very new. We may start out with a very restrictive, we will start out with a very restrictive program, but that doesn't mean that we're done working to get help for everyone that needs it. Alan said, I hope it's not going to be accessible by big corporate weed. Alan, that's something that came up a lot in legislature in session earlier this year. And that is actually not something that we can do. Like, there was a lot of talk about keeping it to Kentuckians only. And I can't remember. Jason Nemes talked about it. And if I find the footage, I'll post it on our blog. But they wanted to keep it to Kentucky only. And I think it's against either the Kentucky Constitution or the U.S. Constitution. Yeah. The U.S. Constitution says that you cannot limit business opportunities by state. So there's no way to actually put in any kind of residency, qualifications to keep people out of it. So that's just something we have to go for. It's the same thing like it is now. It's up to us as consumers to shop Kentucky Proud. It's up to us as consumers to shop with local small businesses, if that's the kind of business that we want to promote. Unfortunately, just like with everything else, people tend to go with corporate because it's affordable, more affordable, especially in the beginning. But again, things like that change as the market changes, and it's just something that we have to keep growing and keep working on. Uh, let's see. Let's talk about it. The program is technically still in development. That's right. Is it more political disputes why Kentucky is not more ambitious about cannabis? It's actually, I mean, yeah, some may be political, but in Kentucky, especially, it's really has a lot to do about religion. We're in the Bible Belt. Most of the lobbying money spent to go up against cannabis in Kentucky is from religious, like the Family Foundation. Um, there's a few others. Family Foundation is one of them that spends the most. So a lot of it has to do with that. We're a very conservative state. A lot of conservative politicians don't like medical marijuana. They feel like that's going to interfere with other parts of other industries like alcohol. And a lot of these people have stocks in these businesses. And so, you know, it's Kentucky's just slow. We're surprised that we made it to the 38th state. We honestly thought we were going to be way down at the bottom. So this was kind of, we were kind of a sleeper state with this. A lot of people did not realize that this was actually going to get passed this year. So it is what it is. I think that the fact that all the other states surrounding Kentucky, or is it all or almost all? I think it's almost all, have cannabis now, either in medical or recreational form, and it's beginning to become this thing they just can't fight anymore. And so let's see, it seems like that we would look at surrounding states and improve on their plans. And yeah, I agree. I have heard a lot that they want to base this on Ohio's market. So, which isn't doing the best that it could. So, again, a lot of education, a lot of talking to legislators and giving them the best information possible, which is what we do through NORML. Let's see. Why would they move PTSD? I don't know. Some of these people just want to start arguments just because it's, negative news is still news. A lot of it has to do with like how we feel like it's smoking is what helps PTSD the most versus edibles. Also, I think some people who are not maybe as educated in mental disorders, it's one of these invisible, illnesses, invisible disorders. And so a lot of people go by that. Like if they can't see it, it's not a real thing. So again, it just really goes back to education, and reaching out yourselves and talking to your senators, state senators, and to your state house reps, and asking them to set up a Zoom. Find out if they hold little coffee breakfast mornings or little meetings in your county or in your district. If you need any help finding out who these people are, we can help you with all of that. That's what we're here for. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just, I can't explain all the decisions these people make. It's just something we have to just keep working on, Alan says, I've said for years, cannabis prohibition is blasphemy. It's like saying an infallible God made a mistake. And yeah, and that is something that is brought up when we have religious people that want to know more about it. We offer that argument to them, is that, here in the Bible, it says that, God gave man everything they needed. I don't know exactly this verse, but I know y'all know what I'm talking about. That he put all the plants here for us, or it's late. I'm sorry. I can't remember, but sometimes that does help people. I mean, it's just that we've all been raised with so much misinformation, and it's like, we are not making cannabis legal. We are removing cannabis prohibition. Like, like the prohibition of cannabis is actually a lot shorter than the amount of years that humans have been using cannabis. So it's all in the way you're thinking about things. And that's what we're going to do with legislators and with supporters, is just keep educating them and keep them, keep giving them the best information, the most accurate information that we can get. Let's see. It's encouraging to know that we move swiftly to 238. Thank you for your hard work and all that NORML does. Well, thank you. I mean, we appreciate all of you guys, and your support, your donations, your t-shirt purchases, becoming members. All those things are the things that help us be able to do this and, pay for our trips to normal and pay for the software we're using right now to do these streams. So we appreciate you guys as well. My LinkedIn user. Do you know who the legislator in Louisville is that I can reach out to? I'd have to look specifically with your address and zip code because there's a lot of gerrymandering that goes on. So there might be a line that goes right through a place that doesn't make sense. But if you will reach out to us, our email is info@kynorml.org. And just ask and we can look you up. Now, if somebody out there might be able to drop the link to where you can find your legislators in the comments. So if anybody knows that offhand that you can drop it in, do that. But I'll try to do it the same after we get off the stream. Maybe somebody else can do it, so don't forget. So let's see. When I came to WKU and we sang Happy Birthday to Charles, that was my first time meeting the people in Kentucky from NORML. Oh, okay. So you came when we hosted Charles Booker over on Nashville Road. That was back in October. That was really neat. We have a couple of feelers out. We're hoping maybe, fingers crossed, maybe we can get Governor Beshear to come and we can host him in the same way. But we'll just have to see. He's a busy guy and, he's very important. So we'll just have to see about that. Now, before I get off real quick, I wanted to show you a couple more things about this website that we were looking at. Because here's some more problems that I wanted to point out. They said that does Kentucky have reciprocity with other states? And it says, we've heard neighboring states may honor Kentucky medical marijuana recommendation and charge you substantially less in taxes. Here's the thing. Medical states that do offer reciprocity, they offer it to other people who are in a certified state registered medical marijuana program, which is not open yet, right? So these neighboring states that you can purchase from, you're going to go to a recreational state that you can already do. So again, this is the misinformation I want you guys to know about. If you hear somebody else talking about it, you know how to combat that misinformation, or you can send them to us and we'll tell them. So a little bit talking about caregivers. Again, this doesn't count. You can't be a caregiver until you're registered with the state. How do I apply? Most state medical marijuana registries offer forms. Again, that registry is not open yet. They talk about, do you need a caregiver card for your child under 18? Yes, you will need that. But again, that's going to come from the state, not from them. Can my employer drug test me for medical marijuana? Unfortunately, the answer is yes, they can. And they are correct in this. Kentucky is at what they call a at will state. So we can be terminated for any reason. And there's nothing to say that an employer can, declare that they have a drug-free workplace and they won't allow anybody to have any kind of medicine. It is restated in the bill that they are supposed to treat it like a prescription, but since it's not an actual prescription, it's a big gray area. So employers can still say that you can't use that. And if they test it in your system, so you don't have any protection there. They say approved patients allowed to smoke marijuana. Smoking marijuana is not allowed under Kentucky's medical marijuana law. This is true. It is not to be smoked. At the same time, what you do in your house is your business. Raw cannabis will be available. You're supposed to use it for edibles. You're supposed to use it for vaping, which is a healthier way in some people's opinions to inhale anyway. But I'm not going to tell you what to do in your own house. So that's all we're going to say about that. And then the last one is my personal information kept confidential. They say, oh, we're going to keep it confidential. It's HIPAA, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if they will or not. I already feel like this is a predatory type business. So it's up to you guys to decide. We're all adults here. Like I said, if you want to do it, but just be careful because we have people call us on a regular basis. You can always call us on our work line. It's 502-888-1522. You can call us, have your uncle who won't listen to you call us, whatever. And we'd be glad to explain any of this to them. And so, we just want to make sure that everybody stays safe. So, okay, cool. So, y'all came all the way from Radcliffe. That's really great. I mean, Radcliffe's that's up by Louisville, right? That's pretty far. I don't know that I would have made that drive. So I'm glad y'all came. And we'll try to, make sure you're on our email list and everything. When we have some more stuff going on, well, guys, we'll let you know. I'm actually going to be speaking in Ohio, in Cincinnati, at the Canatech Expo on June like 27, 28, I think. Excuse me. So we're going to have a booth there. I'm going to be speaking about same things we're talking about right here, just explaining the laws, regulations, what's going on in Kentucky. But that's going to be a fun expo to go to. We're going to have our Kentucky Cannabis Conference in Kentucky through Kentucky NORML next March. So we do have some things going on, and hopefully we'll be able to host some candidates as well. So let's see. Alan is excited for Kentucky. He's excited to be moving here, and I hope to get involved in things. Alan, one way to get involved, we do these lives for everybody because, a lot of people who need medical cannabis are, disabled, or they're housebound, or, there's just something going on where it's not easy for them to make in-person, meetings and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I read a comment, lost my train of thought. So we do these every week. We can talk about this. If you have something particularly you want to talk about, we can. I've tried to do some educational things, and it seems like people don't want to be taught this late in the evening, which is fine. Let's see. Next March. Awesome. So yeah, talk to me about it. We're a little bit further away from that, but we are going to talk about people that want to come volunteer, that want to help behind the scenes and just kind of listen in and do things like that. So that's going to be a fun thing to help participate. I'm also working on a digital local leader kit. So what it's going to be is something that you can download, you can take to Staples, or, if you have a printer at home, print out flyers, print out QR codes, print out things, and then go to your local festival, go to your local political meetings, whatever you go to, Rotary Club, whatever. And you can have things to hand out that explain the laws, that explain how to join NORML, that explain, what exactly is going on and how to stay informed and how to stay safe. And so that'll be something that you guys, if you want to get on the ground and help in your community, that you can do. And we'll have some information about, how to teach you to schedule your library for a little meeting and do some things where you could have a meeting every Thursday night and just put our live stream up on a big screen or something and come, have a good conversation with the people around you. So lots of ways to participate. Reach out to us. We may even just ask you for help moderating on Facebook, because there's just, we don't want people trying to sell illegally, on there and getting people in trouble. So there's lots of ways to help. Reach out. Tell us what you're good at. Tell us how you can help. And we can offer some suggestions and see how we can get you involved. I'm sorry. The LinkedIn users was asking if Canatech is a great place to network. Actually, I believe that it is. I was told that Canatech is like a second tier cannabis expo, whereas your MJ BizCon, your really expensive, great big shows, would be your first tier. And so they do like a Michigan Canatech, they do the Ohio, I think Colorado and Arizona and New York. So they've got them all over the place. And a lot of times expos like that are really good about bringing their businesses, their sponsors with them from state to state. So you're guaranteed to get a good show and to meet people. I think that if you're wanting to meet people that are interested in getting in the cannabis industry right now in the very beginning, that's where you're going to meet them until we have our cannabis conference in March. So I really think that's going to be the best place to go. If you want to go, I might have some discount coupons or discount codes that you can use. So reach out to us on our email and let us know when it gets closer to time. All right, good. So go back and watch some of our old lives, because I did some good education videos. They just, I don't know, I felt like people were getting bored and they dropped off for them. So great. Yeah, tune in. Like I said, we do this every Thursday. It simultaneously goes out on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And so that's how I'm able to see everybody's comments, no matter where you are. And for some reason, they won't allow me to reply back to the LinkedIn comment, but you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. And let people know, that they can watch this afterwards. It stays on our page and is available to watch whenever you have time. So I guess I've used up my time today. Again, I'm going to come back a little bit later after I wrap this up. And he asked about Instagram. No, it doesn't go to Instagram. The software I'm using doesn't give me that option. I'm planning to cut video out and share clips on Instagram, but again, that's more work to do. So I really do need help with graphic design. So if there's anybody out there that's really good at graphic design, hit me up because I have flyers to make and signs to make and all kinds of stuff. So that's always a good way you can help me out. Let's see. I've been writing an amendment to allow Kentuckians to grow a minimum of 7 plants. And I'd like to reach you. Oh, is this Tony? I think I saw your information about this on Twitter. That I think I sent you a message. So yeah, let's keep talking about it. Email me again. It's info@kynormal.org. And let's talk some more. So yeah. And it's you'll either reach me or my husband Matthew. He's the executive director. He's a paralegal. He has a regular gig. So he usually is working or doing other things. So I'm a lot of times the person that will answer the phone or answer the emails. But if you're lucky, Matt will answer and you can talk to him. So let's see. LinkedIn, you know somebody, I can get you in contact with him. Yes. Hi, Tony. All right. Okay. Yes. Send me emails. Y'all send me emails. I answer the Facebook Messenger, the Twitter, all the DMs, all the social messaging, all comes to me. So it doesn't have to be email. If you don't dig email, that's fine. But I will say, if you want me to remember and it's important and it's not just a question, send me an email so I can put a star by it and come back to it. Because we got a lot of stuff going on right now. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go outside and enjoy. My kids are running around screaming and acting crazy. So I'm going to go watch them a little bit. And then I'll drop links in the comments here saying, all these links we talked about so that you can go back and look at them. And the expo too. So good night. We'll talk again soon. Thank you for joining and see you next week. Bye.